Welcome back, folks. You guessed it, we have yet another Baby Yoda figure. This is the other Hasbro Baby Yoda posable figure that we do have that just came in from the Toy Depot down in San Diego. Again, his link will be down below. Make sure to check him out, order whatever you want, order whatever you can. He will get it to you as soon as possible, and hopefully you can start adding all the Baby Yoda love and merchandise you can to your collection. Now, this is the 6.5-inch posable figure that Hasbro did release. I wasn't quite sure what to expect from this figure, and honestly, I'm pretty surprised at what route they did go with, because it's not something I am used to and not something, as far as I'm aware, that we really have seen in the toy market, or at least something that has been mass produced and mass marketed. But once I go into the details, maybe you'll have a better understanding of what I mean and what I'm talking about. Now, I did already remove him from the packaging. He was pretty simple, and he just had these weird peg holes on the bottom that did attach to some pegs in the packaging, but we'll get into that too in just a moment. So the packaging does come with this open display with Baby Yoda right here. Again, like I mentioned in my last video, his fingernails are painted in the illustration, but not on the actual figure, but we'll get a close-up in just a moment. We have Star Wars, the Mandalorian, the child, Disney and Hasbro, ages 4+, so as long as you're 4 years old, you can have this. We have a picture of Baby Yoda, and just another picture of the actual figure with some movement. You can see you can move his hands and arm, and his head does swivel, and that is really about it. Even though it says posable, I guess that counts as posable. And here, a mysterious alien pursued by bounty hunters on behalf of Imperial interests. That is the same description put on the Hasbro Talking Baby Yoda plush, so they really didn't come up with anything new. Another picture of Baby Yoda, and that is about it. Here we have the figure. This entire thing is basically plastic, and you can hear how it is. I don't think there's really any soft parts, except the ears are pretty soft, but the head is hard, and the hands are a little bit soft too. Like I said at the beginning, the bottom is completely flat, except for these two peg holes, which they used for the packaging, but I don't really see what the point of this is. I mean, if these kind of look like holes you would put on the wall if you want to frame something, but I can't imagine you're gonna frame him facing like that, and it's not that you can really turn his head up to be facing outwards. So I don't know. I mean, I guess this is just another way to grab the license for Baby Yoda and produce a figure, but it just doesn't really make sense what this is all about. Of course, it acts as a nice little desk ornament. If he was a little bit happier looking, he does kind of look bored right there, but oh well. The details on the robe are pretty nice. Again, we have that light beige color. We have some ripples throughout here. You can see all the wrinkles, so it does look like it is in motion. And I love that they did actually add the texture to the collar and the cuff areas. So it almost feels like that popcorn ceiling look to it. His hood on the back, just some more wrinkles. So very simple, you know, his clothes don't really have too much detail to begin with, but they did manage to add all the different textures and features to make it stand out. You already saw his hands and arms go up. Let me go ahead and do that. His arms do go back and forth as much as they can without interfering with that. They do go out and in from any position. Depending on how far out you can get it, it might interfere with the collar here. And his hands do not twist or anything, but you can definitely twist the entire arm like that and get him to face different directions. And the same thing on this one. And his hands do have different grasps also. This one is a little bit closed, where this one is more open. So if you want to get him using the force, you would have this right hand facing up. As far as the head, it's a basic ball joint, it seems like, but it doesn't go that far forward and back. It does twist all the way around too. And you can kind of tilt left to right. Now the paint on this, on the actual head, is pretty nice. What I actually just noticed this, they painted his hairs on the top of his head and the ears. What is that? That looks horrible. That is really bad. And I also just realized in the camera, it looks like he is kind of a tealish blue color, but in person, he is definitely more of a darker green. But what is that on his head? That just looks horrible. It looks like someone took a white color pencil and just drew all these lines on his head. That is not, I would have rather had just nothing, just a green, just a bald head than having all these little lines all over the place. And even the ears, that does not look good. Luckily they don't go all the way to the back of his head, but they do go pretty far. Some good details in the face, and we do see some wrinkles on the forehead and top of the head, the wrinkles throughout the eyes and the lips. We have a little bit of pink on the cheeks and around the eyelids, and the eyes do look good also. We can actually see the pupils too in there. And the ears, we have some pink. Now this is something that's really weird about the ears. I don't know why they decided to do this and not either do the same material or just make it one big sculpt. First off, you can clearly see where they inserted the ears, and even the head isn't the full head. So it looks like they had one half of the head, put in the ears, and then closed it all together. So that just looks pretty ugly with all the creases and lines there. And even the color, you can clearly see how this is almost translucent because of the rubber material and how soft it is, but it doesn't even look the same green. This is more of a lime green, like a limeade green, where this is the dark, like grass green. I mean, that just doesn't really make sense to me. And the back kind of looks better. Depending on the lighting, it does look a little bit darker, and you can't quite see through it as much. It's not as translucent, but the front is really where you can see the big color differences. So let me get the height measurement real quick. So he does stand at just about the 6.5 inch mark. I feel like I'm weighing a baby. I mean, he is a baby. And he comes in at 12 ounces. Wow, so he is pretty heavy, even though the size, he's so much smaller than the other ones. He is a pretty heavy guy, and that's due to all the plastic and rubber material that he is in. Let me go ahead and pair him next to the Hasbro talking plush. Similar, not really, almost close in size, but you can really tell that the talking plush has the bigger size to him. And of course the Mattel plush. Let me get him actually in view so you can see all of them too. So far, I know I mentioned in the Hasbro talking plush review that these two are very similar. I would still say this one is similar, but these two have more of a joy to their faces than the new guy in the bunch. And again, the Build-A-Bear that you can see in the back corner, he's not really counting in any of these because he looks like a completely different plush as well. But that is about it, folks. Super simple figure we have with, this new one. Not much to say, and this guy is falling over again as usual. Let me lean him up against his cousin right here. There we go. But if you want something super simple like this, I guess go for it. It's not really a big deal. I'm not sure if I want to keep him just yet. But yeah, there you have it. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below. Thanks again for watching, and stay tuned for my next video.